reputation of having slow outfield will make the batsman think, and running between the wickets will be a very important factor today for both the teams, and choosing their place to score their runs off will also be really important against the bowlers they are facing against. Having a really turning pitch here, a turning track today. UKM Oval has had the good reputation of having a very huge turn for the spinners here. They'll have that really big turn that they're going to offer this wicket. So it'll be very interesting to see how the game plays out today.
Mate, you're 100% spot on. I agree with everything you said. And we saw that turn on offer in the first game. Nepal's Sita Rana Magar, the left arm spinner, keeping it quite simple. That drift in or that angle into the right hander, and then just straightening a little bit. She got good purchase off the wicket. So it will be interesting to see, have the UAE been watching that first game? And what kind of pointers can they take from that first game into this game? A reminder, of course, that a couple of the UAE players, or more than a couple, UAE players were here for the Under-19 Asia qualifier, which concluded just last week. So having that intel about the conditions, it's super, super useful.
Yes. Another thing I told you first, why I pointed it out first, is that the weather has been playing a big role. A few days that I've been playing cricket here as well, and in Malaysia nowadays the weather have been like TV advertisements. Said you don't know what is going to come out next, and rain comes out of nowhere in this country for the past few weeks, and it'll be very interesting to see how the weather is going to play out today. Hopefully there'll be no rain to spoil the match, and Oman batsmen are walking out.
The openers for Oman walking out to the middle, Sakshi Shetty. She's going to be at the non-striker's end. In fact, she's going to be at the striker's end. It'll be interesting to see who opens the bowling for the UAE. Chaya Mughal in consultation with a couple of her players. It looks like she's in consultation with Kavisha and Isha Oza. Kavisha Kumari Igodige and Isha Oza, of course, both featuring at the Fairbreak Invitational, which concluded in May last month. So here we go, Sakshi Shetty, ready to face the first ball, and it's the skipper herself, Chaya Mughal, to kick things off. Chaya Mughal does nothing too fancy with the ball, doesn't bowl at an express speed, but she is one of the single most accurate bowlers you will see in this tournament. Mark my words.
Interesting that UAE has only one fielder outside the boundary here for the first over, having a third man, not using the restrictions, the extra fielder they can have outside the boundary. Interesting tactics here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well noticed. So you have mid-on and mid-off both up in the circle right now. And this is something we saw them do throughout the Asia qualifiers last year, which were held in November. The UAE, of course, winning that and progressing to the T20 World Cup global qualifiers to be held later this year. That, of course, is an ICC event, and this is an ACC, an Asian Cricket Council event. Another reminder of what's at stake: the top two teams, in other words, the winning semi-finalists, will qualify for the Asia Cup, where they will get to face 4 Asian full members, as well as Thailand, in a 7-team tournament. So a huge opportunity here. The UAE, we've said it before and we'll say it again, going in as hot favorites. Not just in this game, but in this tournament as well, Vijay.
Yes, and coming back to the game, they have changed some plans here. They've taken out the slip, kept the mid-wicket out of range.
Interesting. Chaya Mughal just taking an extra 2 minutes to set her field. So we have a slightly delayed start. But here we go. First ball, Chaya Mughal. Back of a length, right on the money. I'm not surprised at all. A dot ball to kick things off. And the UAE infield, vociferous as ever.
She said right. Nice start by Chaya Mughal. Right on the money. Length ball, straight to the stumps.
Absolutely. Here she comes for her second delivery. This one a little bit wider, left alone outside the off stump by Sakshi.
Slightly away there for this ball.
Vijay, if you are the batting team right now, if you're Oman, what is your approach going to be for the power play?
Approach when it comes to power play, that you look to attack, play off, see off that first 3-4 balls.
Here we go. Sakshi Shetty. That's Fuller, a bit of a thick inside edge, and Oman get their first runs on the board. That one just edged away to deep square leg. Look at the UAE, the strongest Asian associate side after Thailand. And like we've said, the pre-tournament favorites. And it's so good to see this, that early energy. It really does put that pressure on the opposition if you're super, super loud and super energetic. Oh, a big slash that's going down to third man, and it's well cut off there. So just a single. We have 2 deliveries left now in the first over. 2 runs on the board with both batters off the mark.
Good start so far by Chaya Mughal, just giving 2 runs away of the first 4 balls.
Absolutely. We're having a little bit of an issue accessing the scoreboard up here in the commentary box. But we will address that issue as soon as possible. I trust you, the viewers at home, can still see everything that's going on. Full toss and leg stump. Vijay, you got to put those away.
Yes, full toss not put away. And as we're talking about the universal approach of power play, you should look to score runs. I think with only one fielder outside the 30 yards, they should look to catch on whatever they get from the bowlers. UAE bowlers having reputation of a good.
It's a 5-4 offside field. Chaya Mughal bowling to her field.
2 full tosses not put away there. Sakshi Shetty should be a little disappointed, but just the first over. Bring big cash on the next 5 overs they have from this power play.
Absolutely, and it's 2 for no loss after the first over. Here we go. From the other end, it's the teenager, Samaira Dharnidarka. At the Asia qualifier, she was often bowling first or second change for the UAE. But like we saw in the bilateral series against Hong Kong, she started to open the bowling for the UAE now. The UAE without Mahika Gore in this tournament. I hope to get confirmation on why that is the case, whether it's injury or it's something to do with studies and availability. But for now, here is Samaira. Ooh, down the leg side. She doesn't often do that. So bonus runs for the UAE. They scamper through for a single as well.
What's interesting here, she has some pace. As you can notice, it was a wide ball. But something interesting has come up that she has good pace, and be exciting to see the rest of her for this tournament.
Absolutely. And the thing about Samaira, she is one of the youngest players in the UAE, but also their fastest bowler.
Yeah. Getting beaten for pace again there. Trying to go back for a cut off through the boundary. Not managed to do that.
Yep, really good start from Samaira Dharnidarka. And we might even see her with the bat. She can definitely wield the willow, so to speak. A fuller delivery, just eased into the offside for a dot ball. Chaya Mughal getting her hands on the ball. And a lot of the UAE's energy, it's a top-down kind of thing. It comes from their leader. It comes from Chaya Mughal. She's always got that energy, whether she...
Just developing the cricket. It's really important that you get more matches. Big tournaments like this give them much exposure that is needed.
That's slapped away in front of square on the offside. Just a dot ball to Khushi Sharma in the covers.
You can see Fiza Javed has been looking to go for the shots here. Been really attacking. I mean, even the first ball that was driven slightly upwardly, but she was trying to be attacking. It's a good sign here that someone needs to take the charge for Oman.
Absolutely. And skipper Vaishali Jasrani was all praise for Fiza at the toss. And she spoke of how important it is to get a good start from their openers. It was a pleasure meeting Vaishali just now. It was my first time meeting her. She seems like a very positive person, the kind of person you want to lead your team. At least that's the first impression that I got. But yes, like we said, Oman, it's about getting a strong start. And like you said, Vijay, it's about attacking that power play as well. Here's Chaya Mughal. Ooh, a tentative nudge that goes down to third man. A fortuitous single. But Fiza, she is not going to complain. She's at the non-striker's end now. Sakshi Shetty, she's back on strike. Still looking for her first boundary.
It's interesting to see if she would go for it or she would just play off this over, the last ball of the over. Like to see Fiza Javed on strike the next over as well.
Here we go. Chaya Mughal from over the wicket. That's a full toss. Yet another full toss. She hasn't quite gotten it, but it's running down to the boundary. They should be able to cross back for two. Oh, that's a strong throw from the deep. There you go. And the UAE fielder is appreciating that effort as well. So a productive over for Oman. The score is 11 for no loss after 3. And great to see better intent from both batters at the crease and Oman's dugout. They know how important that over was. And you can hear them. Let's go, Oman. Let's go, Oman.
I think what the attacking mode did is that caused Chaya Mughal, who was just bowling right up there, to try something different. I think it has caused some changes in the bowling. Last over she was giving few width, some full tosses out there.
Here we go. Fiza Javed. She leaves that alone outside the off stump. Samaira Darnidarka, the fastest of the UAE bowlers and the youngest of the UAE bowlers. Not the only teenager and youngster in this UAE lineup. We of course have behind the sticks Tirtha Satish, the left-hander, who played in the Fairbreak Invitational, much like Isha Oza and Kavisha Kumari Igodage. That slapped away into the offside, a run-out chance. A direct hit was needed. But the batters just managed to get through for a single. A streaky run there.
Close one there. Samaira has continued to bowl very well. I think what is important that you give a different approach to each bowler. She having a bit of pace, different kind of shot selection, be very good.
Oh, a play and a miss. Just wrong-footed there. It was on the front foot. Should have gone back. Perhaps she knows that. Just backing away, walking in the direction of the square leg umpire, gathering her thoughts, going back to the crease. Sakshi Shetty.
She has been trying to play a lot on the back foot today. I think it's good choice, good option to use this kind of pitch.
That's Fuller and watchfully played, a dot ball. We haven't seen too much of that actually, just a dead bat.
Really rare that you see in T20 cricket these days. One thing to look at is Samaira has been really impressive today. been keeping a line of length and is bowling with intent and some good pace here.
One thing that is working in Oman's favor, of course, is they haven't lost a wicket yet. Here comes Samaira yet again. Short of a length, onto her very quick. Just run. Oh, this is going to be a run out. It is an easy run out. There we have it. Sakshi Shetty running for the shot. She wanted a single and she was rightfully sent back by Fiza Javed. But a little too late. She walks back to the dugout as drinks run onto the field. It's a hot and sultry day. Sakshi Shetty, however, perhaps that was the commentator's curse. I just talked about how they haven't lost a wicket yet.
Yes, and I can really see what you were talking about at the start of the match. They're mirroring show great intent UAE. Looks like a solid team, great fielding side here. That's really good to see. Showing good intent here. That's what you need in international cricket.
Absolutely. The UAE have made a grand total of 0 mistakes in the field so far. And as we say that, Oman's skipper Vaishali Jaiswani walks in at number 3. She will not. No, she will be on strike. I believe we still have a delivery left in this, the 4th over. You have to say perhaps that wicket coming from the dot ball pressure built by Samaira Darnidarka. That's left alone outside the off stump to close out the 4th over. A really good one, a productive one for Samaira Darnidarka. And it's 12 for 1 after 4.
Solid over by Samaira. Just 1 run from that over.
Fiza Javed with the only boundary of the innings so far. It was square drive, a squarish drive that beat backward point's left hand. I beg your pardon. And it's going to be Fiza on strike. It looks like we have a change in bowling. We'll try and get confirmation on who that is. I believe, if my eyesight is any good, that's Khushi Sharma. That's nudged into the offside and a dot ball. Apologies, that's Induja Nandkumar. Like I said, we're up pretty far in the commentary box. It's a little hard to make out faces. Khushi Sharma, of course, a lot taller than Induja Nandkumar, the tallest of UAE's bowlers. We're waiting for the signal from the umpire that's going to run away to the boundary. It's 4 runs and it's signaled byes. So at least there was no edge on that and that doesn't go down as a drop chance. But at the end of the day, an untidy piece of work there from Tirtha Satish. You have to say a pretty regulation take. Oman, however, they're not going to complain. Second boundary of their innings.
I think at UKM Oval, it's really important. Each run is important and Oman will take those freebies with both hands. It's important that UAE don't commit these mistakes, boundaries, or free like that.
Mate, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. On these slower surfaces, anything in the region of 100 or 110, you actually give yourself a pretty good chance. We saw Nepal defend 94 pretty easily, actually, against Bhutan. Bhutan, of course, not quite in the same category as the UAE. But nonetheless, the point still stands. You know, there is some purchase for the slower bowlers in this wicket. Here we go, Induja. That's nudged into the offside. Yet another dot ball. Khushi Sharma, strong arm. Look at that.
Fiza has been looking to score those runs here. She has been middling the ball well. But nonetheless, she's not been getting those runs yet. Of this over yet.
Oh, that's yet another full toss that hasn't been put away. You've got to go harder at these full tosses, don't you, Vijay?
Yes, they have to grab those chances that they get. And looking at UAE, they've not been giving much of bad balls. And as you can see, to Oman batsmen, if you don't give those width, you won't go for runs.
Here we go. I like this action. A hop, skip, and a jump to kick it off. No run, a square drive to Samaira Darni-Darka, who cuts that off at backward point. That closes out the 5th over. The score is 16 for 1, with 1 over left in the power play.
Continuing with Samaira, he's been bowling really well. The 3rd over for the day. Look to see how it plans. Is it going to change to the new batsman, the captain Vaishali Desrani?
Just as we say that, dark clouds are appearing over the YSD UKM Oval here in Malaysia. That's been driven. A bit of a misfield allows the batters to get through for a single. I'm being a little bit harsh. It wasn't easy cutting that off.
I feel it was a really good stop there by the fielder. Really great job there. It was hit hard by Vaishali, the captain.
Clearly, Vijay and I playing a game of good cop, bad cop. I'm sure you can guess which one I am. Here we go. Samaira Darni-Darka bowling the final over of the power play. I wonder if Oman is going to take the aerial route. They haven't been too shy. Been some decent intent from Oman so far. That's yet another square drive from the Omani batters. And whenever you see so many square drives, it's just an indication that perhaps the batters are being rushed. You know, when a lot of their runs are coming from behind the wicket.
I feel she's been trying to even play those balls that she's not given width. I have a feeling that's a favorite shot, maybe.
Well, right on cue. Once again, that ball going down to third man. Now onto strike. Vijay, it keeps getting darker and darker. And it looks like the wind is really, really strong as well. Here we go, Vaishali on strike. That's left lone outside the off stump, and it's signaled wide. The umpire just getting a bit of exercise there, and a useful extra run for Oman.
I feel the clouds covering here, pace bowlers can use it to their advantage, try to get a wicket or two. And I feel that wide, the swing has a big part to play in it. Indicates that the clouds are going to play a big part for these 2-3 overs. They should make use of it.
Yet another delivery going down to that third man region. We've seen quite a few runs square of the wicket or behind the wicket on the offside so far today. Yes, you're right. Perhaps just a wind just assisting in getting some movement outside, or rather away from the right-hander. But yes, the skies could open up at any time. Here we go. That's up in the air. This should be an easy take. Tirtha Satish. Oh no! She spills it! Oh, Tirtha Satish, you've got to say, you've got the gloves on. You've got to take that. It should have been 2 down, but the batter will survive that. A lucky, lucky reprieve. Vijay, what do you make of it? Am I being too harsh?
I think it's our curse. We're talking about their fielding, how great it was. I mean, how great it still is. But one of those mistakes that happen.
Absolutely. I mean, look, it's not an excuse, but that wind we spoke of,
Yeah.
I think that just made it a little bit harder. And just as we say that, like, wow, this wind has really, really picked up. Some debris being blown onto the outfield as well. Some dead leaves. Yep, that's a sizable gust of wind.
I think the
And
ball.
as we say that, that's the end of the power play. The score after 6 overs is 20 for 1. A decent start for Oman. Vijay, What dugout would you rather be in right now?
Definitely will be prefer to be in the UAE dugout. They've done well, 20 of 1, just 6 overs. It'll be really important how they play out the next 14 overs. A big responsibility. Captain Vaishali Jesani's shoulders there. She has to take the attack. They are still going with just a fielder outside boundary. Pretty attacking approach.
I'm not sure what I make of this tactic. I mean, skipper Chaya Mughal obviously backing her players. So that is good to see. That's turned away on the leg side, waiting for the signal from the umpire. No signal from the umpire. That's off the bat. So a single to kick off the post-power play period. That's Fuller and driven, squarish yet again. And of course, Khushi Sharma with that bullet of a throw into Tirtha Satish cuts that off.
Just not enough power there to pierce the caps for a boundary. But nonetheless, they get a run. A good shot. Again, playing square of the wicket. Fiza seems to be loving the square region so far. I think a wagon wheel, the 8 runs she has scored, I think mostly would have been from the square region.
Tries to whip that away. It looks like that's come off the bat. A run out chance. Ooh.
A close one.
Vijay, I think a direct hit would have had her.
Close one there. Bit of casual running from the captain. I think she has to be really responsible, more alert, not giving a wicket away.
That's Fuller. She's beaten her outside edge. So we've just seen that in the last couple of minutes. A little more movement away from the batters. A very, very strong breeze blowing from right to left here at the YSD UKM Oval. As you see Isha Oza on your screen, just shining that delivery. Induja Nandakumar. I beg your pardon. I'm just getting a little bit tongue-tied here. Trying to keep an eye on the skies. And much like the rest of you, I'm crossing my fingers that we don't get a rain interruption here. It's 23 for 1 right now. 1 delivery left in the 7th over. If you're just joining us, the news is Oman won the toss and decided to bat. It's been a solid start. They've lost 1 wicket. Wicketkeeper, batter, and opener Sakshi Shetty was run out in the power play.
Again, decent whip to the square leg region, but not managed to get those runs. That has been the case for the majority of the innings here so far. They've been middling it really well, but not been managed to get those runs that is needed. 23 so far of 7 overs. The groundsman look to be getting ready for any rain interruption here.
Yeah, that's a good spot. Just moving some of those advertising hoardings out of the way to clear the way for the covers to come on the field in case they're needed. You get a feeling it might be a matter of when and not if it's going to rain here at the YSD UKM Oval, as Samira Dharni Darka is going to complete her spell. She's going to continue from the other end into her 4th over. The UAE looking for a wicket. That's nudged into the leg side. Khushi Sharma tries to run in, unable to catch that. I apologize. That was Suraksha Kote on that occasion, fielding at a short mid-wicket on the leg side.
Just falling slightly short. They'll be itching to get the captain's wicket here.
Here we go, Samira. That's shorter, and it's quick, and it's really well fielded. That could have easily been 2, if not 4. And it looks like it might be Isha Oza there. Yes, it is. The tall Isha Oza at backward point there. Really good piece of fielding.
Impressive stop piece of fielding there by Kushi Sharma.
I beg your pardon, actually. Isha Oza, she was fielding at more of a gully rather than a backward point. But Isha Oza, of course, a top order batter for the UAE and bowls some more than handy off spin as well. If I'm not mistaken, she played for the Warriors at the Fair Break Invitational. Here we go. Samaira Darka, nice and short. I love to see that. A big appeal. I think that appeal was more out of excitement. She definitely rushed the batter on this occasion. And I think that is the first bouncer we have seen today.
I think it's one of the first bouncers I've seen being bowled by a woman so far. In the associate region, I haven't seen bouncers bowled being that attacking. But today, it's really impressive to see that. I think it could have been thought about having the long leg and the third man out there.
I gotta say, I love this aggression though from Samaira. Still a teenager, still in school. That's whipped away off the legs down to fine leg. It was just a single. The fielder there at fine leg, Ritika Rajat, cutting that off. And you know what, Vijay, you would be surprised. Samaira absolutely loves utilizing that bouncer. But you're right in a way. It doesn't happen too often at the associate level. But in terms of seamers who are enforcers, you're going to see Hong Kong's Mariko Hill as well. She loves to dig it in. There we go. That's defended. But with Hong Kong's Mariko Hill, it's more about hitting that hard length rather than digging it halfway down the pitch. And Hong Kong, of course, will be in action tomorrow at the same ground, the YSD UKM Oval here in Malaysia. There are, of course, games going on at the Kinrara Oval at the same time. Gotta say, I love when you have two games on at the same time, two screens active. There we go, playing across the line, and she's bowled. Samaira Darka closes out her spell with a well-deserved wicket, her first wicket of the day. Oman, that 24 for 2 after 8 overs.
Four overs, 8 runs and 1 wicket. Brilliant spell there by Samaira Darka. She's done a job for the day. Really impressive. A quick pace and a brilliant line and length, using the wind as well. Last third over, using the length. And what was impressive there was the field setting they had for each ball was getting different. And it shows that they have an attacking approach here.
Absolutely.
Comes on, trying to trick the batsman. A lot of bluffs. Really good. Really impressive.
And as you can see, Priyanka Mendoza joining her skipper at the crease, walking in at number 4. And Vijay, you hit the nail on the head, mate. You hit the nail on the head. Keeping it simple. Building that dot ball pressure. Samaira Darka, aided, of course, by Induja Nandkumar, who's only conceded 3 runs in her 2 overs, including a maiden. So things just slowing down a tad for Oman. They started so well, but this is not entirely surprising. The UAE, of course, a very, very professional outfit, and not just in terms of women's cricket, but just cricket in general. This is a golden period for UAE cricket. Their men, of course, their men's senior team reaching the T20 World Cup. The women's senior team reaching the global qualifiers. Here's Isha Oza. That's down the leg side. It's not called. Oh, Vijay, I wonder if she got a little bit of bat on that. There's no signal there from the umpire.
Keeper would be hoping that it's not off the bat. I think she has caused a few buys and a drop catch today. We're looking to prove a point.
Yes,
the
it
coming
hasn't been
overs.
the best day for Tirtha Satish behind the sticks. Isha Oza comes in again, but like we were saying, the men's team in the World Cup, senior women's team, they've made the global qualifiers. Success for the under 19 women's team, and of course the under 19 men's team as well. They made the World Cup. So all of the UAE's representative teams, 3 of them have made the World Cup, and 1 of them have made a global qualifier. That's cut away behind square on the offside. It's running away down to the slow part of the outfield. It plugs in the outfield, but not before the batters scamper through for a very useful 2 runs.
Good shot. A point there. Even though she's a spinner, she's bowling quite quick here. It'll be good to use the pace. Vaishali be looking to use the pace that she's offering. Just with a fielder outside the boundary line, outside the 30 yards.
That's a bit of a top edge. It's a chance, and it is taken. So the UAE picking up that 3rd wicket. It looks like Vaishali Jesrani, the skipper, she's walking back to the dugout. It's a very, very big wicket for the UAE as drinks run onto the field. But yes, Vaishali,
you can see the covers coming on. Jay.
Oh, that's a good spot, Vijay. Oh no, Vijay, we hate seeing this. We're going to have a bit of a rain delay, but hey, then again, it's Southeast Asia. It's quite common for there to be a very brief, even if it's a powerful downpour, it's common for there to be a brief downpour. And it doesn't look too heavy. No one's running off the field. No one's sprinting off the field. But you've got to say that big wicket of Vaishali Jesrani just before this rain delay, that 3rd wicket for the UAE and the 1st wicket for off-spinner Isha Oza.
As I said, you never know what comes next. So far in Malaysian weather has been like that. We've been playing for long here, and these few months have been really...
Mate, I have to say, I feel like this is the 3rd time that the commentator's curse has struck us at the YSD.
It's going down heavy as time goes. Hopefully it'll be just a brief 20-minute, 15-minute rain.
Yes, let's keep our fingers crossed. For now, we are literally touching wood up here in the commentary box. Let's hope it's just a brief downpour. But just to give you a quick recap of what's happened, I am your commentator for the day, Jay Dansgani. I've been joined in the last half an hour or so by a Malaysian off-spinner for the men's team, Vijay Uni. And if you're just joining us, it was Oman who won the toss and elected to bat, as you can see on your screens. We hope to have good news for you sooner rather than later. So don't go too far. Keep a tab on the live score at the Malaysia Cricket website. Do follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Insta at Malaysia Cricket. Follow the ACC. Follow Crick Tracker. And of course, you can follow the 2 of us, Vijay Uni and Jay Dansgani, on social media at Jay Dansinghani. Ladies and gentlemen, the news from the middle is not very good. Much like the Kinrara Oval, the game at YSD UKM has been called off. So the UAE and Oman will be sharing points today. It was a decent outing for Oman to kick things off before the UAE pulled things back. Unfortunately, we got less than 10 overs of play here at YSD UKM. But do join us tomorrow. We've got another few matches coming up here at the ACC Women's T20 Championship 2022. I've been your commentator for the day, Jay Dansinghani. It's been a pleasure being joined by Didi Mogan and Vijay Uni from the men's national team. And don't go too far. Join us tomorrow for more action.